What's up, guys? Just making a quick clip of crankshaft balancing stand I made. It's almost done. I just need to make leveling screws for each of the 4 feet. There's just one bearing in there with all the grease and the rubber seals and the grease and oil and all that removed, so to have as little friction as possible. Hopefully just rolling elements only, no sliding friction. And this crankshaft that's in it right there, I don't know why I have a Bikeberry 1 BBR, but I think it was just I was trying to find out if some of them were built better than others. But you see how I machined those 2 flats on it? That looks like a bit of overkill. I think it is, but there's a reason why I jumped immediately to a whole bunch of extra balance, a whole bunch of extra counterweight, is because I'm looking to make an adjustable crankshaft, adjustable balance crankshaft. So I'm gonna drill a bunch of holes, either axially this way or radially outward from the center, like a sun, like with fingers out like that. And then I'm gonna drill those holes and then tap them and then put in a bunch of set screws. And then I'm thinking either 5/16 or 3/8 imperial set screws. And then, so the reason why I wanted overkill in terms of the amount of metal I removed over there is so that when I remove these, there's no way that I could remove play with the set screws and add extra weight basically in a certain spot, unless I add in like a tungsten set screw. But I'm gonna be drilling out steel and then replacing it with the steel threaded part. So effectively, I can't add any weight to a certain spot on the crankshaft when I'm using the same material still. So but I can remove it, because every time you take one of them out, you're replacing it with air, basically. So the reason why I went overkill with the amount of metal I removed on the counterweight section of the crankshaft is because all these set screws that I'm talking about are gonna be focused on the opposite side of that, because I can't add weight. So there's no point in me basically attempting to add weight over here to increase the balance factor, because everybody says that the existing balance holes are not nearly enough. Everybody says they're way lacking in terms of how much offset they actually create. So each of these flats I machined on, I just did it in a milling machine, face mill like this. Each one of these flats is roughly equal to one of these holes, one of the 4 holes. Because if you look at the amount of metal that's now missing there, it's in the ballpark of being equal to one of these holes. So now we're going from 2 holes per crank web to roughly 3 holes per crank web, if you could see that. That's like a real rough estimate, but you get the gist of it anyways. Really what matters is that I can't add weight to the crankshaft in a certain spot after doing this adjustable idea. At the end of the day, I won't be able to actually increase the amount of mass in a certain spot unless I use some material that's more dense than steel, right? So since I'm not planning on spending a ton of money for this thing, I can't even imagine how expensive it is to get a tungsten little Allen head screw, like a little set screw. So because of that, I'm gonna have to only remove metal, not add any. So I went overkill with the amount of metal I removed there, and then since I'm hoping that was a little bit too much, I'm then gonna remove some metal over here to go in the opposite direction, back to where it should be. Take little baby steps back in the direction of decent balance. So yeah, that's all. I'm hoping I didn't go on too long. I just did this video several times because it was taking whatever 8, 10, 12 minutes, and we're already at 5, and this is my quick attempt. So yeah, sorry about that. Damn, it sucks. I'm terrible at speaking on camera. Sorry about this, but part of the reason I'm trying to start posting again is hopefully someday when I'm old man, I'll be good at, or decent at, enough at speaking in video form. So yeah, hope if I had a elastic band or spring holding the connecting rod in place, then I would be able to actually, then you'd actually be able to see how smoothly it rolls, like how little friction there is. But because the connecting rod is flopping around violently whenever I try to spin it quickly, it kills all the inertia and just makes it come to a stop quickly. But you can see, yeah, so even there, like, you can see that it appears to be on perfectly flat ground. Like, compared to everything else, the ground is considerably flat. But then look at how it always settles a little bit to the one side, a little bit to the counterclockwise. Whether I start it in that spot or I start it in that spot, you can tell that there's a heavy spot a little bit to the left of where it should be, right? Because it should be settling like more or less here. So there's a decent example, I suppose, of how although, like, you can see look at pictures or videos of the real fancy crankshaft balancing stands that are out there for single cylinders. They have little cones with like a pinprick sort of point contact spot, or ones that are hung with string, or little like polished up rollers for what allows them to rotate. Those are all awesome, but clearly just having a regular old bearing will suffice in terms of the friction will still be little enough that it will work, because you can see no matter what I do, it's always settling counterclockwise of where it should. So we know that we've got to remove some weight on this left. If I was to just start grinding or drilling away at this side of the crankshaft, eventually it would settle in the middle like it should. So yeah, I hope I didn't go on too long. Thanks.